Athens' row with his Greek counterpart over the repatriation of the Elgin Marbles, and the statues rumbles on.
Well, joining us to discuss this in the studio is columnist and parliamentary sketchwriter.
Yay!
Let's look.
What a wonderful row this is. I just love it. The fact they're getting so cross about things that are 2,500 years old. I mean, that's even older than my last news story. And the way the Greek Prime Minister swans into London, thinks, oh, I own this place. I've been told by Rishi Sunak not to mention, but I'm going to give a BBC interview and I'm going to mention these old marbles. And then Rishi Sunak has one of those moments. I'm just about at breaking point, she snapped. And he comes over all unnecessary.
Was it that, or was it that the Greek Prime Minister saw Keir Starmer beforehand? That didn't go down well.
They'd had an agreement with
Mr.
Greek Job. I can't say his name. It's one of those tricky jobs. And it was that he was not going to mention the marbles. He mentions the marbles, so Sunak discovers his inner tiger. And says,
but was it appropriate?
Get lost, matey.
Was it appropriate to bite back in the way he's done?
Absolutely.
Very undiplomatic.
Oh, who cares?
Well, what the Greeks will say is there's lots of things on the agenda we wanted to talk about as well as the marbles.
No. This is the thing, though. The Greeks, the Greek chap was only interested
Mitsotakis.
he was only interested in one thing.
So
these marbles.
So let's put to you. I mean, frankly, I don't care. I don't mean that in the wrong way. We had a professor on just now, an academic and author, Professor Kainde Andrews, who said this is symptomatic. I'd love to put this to you of countries who were looted by the British Empire. These are not British. Elgin is dead. They were bought from the Ottoman Empire. Why the hell can't the Greeks have them back, Quentin Les?
We're talking about the Greeks here. The Greeks were the best empire builders in the world. Italy was called Magna Graecia because the Greeks spent so much time over there plundering the poor old Italians. And so don't give us this sob story about the Greeks. They were terrific empire builders. And what happened was that they had this fantastic Parthenon, an amazing place, but it fell into neglect.
Right.
Not only did it fall into neglect, it was used as an arsenal, as a munitions store. And it then caught fire, exploded. So half these marbles lost their heads, and it was lying around. It looked like a sort of a salvage store with bits of dead marble all over the place. Lord Elgin turned up and said, "This is terrible. We've got to do something about this. Let's save these things before they get burned in a kiln." And so he took them back to London, saved them. Good man. And he bought them.
Now you'd say he's bought them, he's looked after them.
Yep.
I don't think there's an argument to say if they went back to Greece that they would not be looked after now. So maybe time to give them back.
Well, we got them. We've got them. They're ours.
Can I throw in?
I'm
going to cough now because I drank tea at the wrong moment. Rosie made. I'm absolutely hijacking. Was it you or Peter Carwell? Made a really good point in the last hour. So. The boss, ironically, of the British Museum, which recently has had some stuff nicked, is George Osborne.
Well, George Osborne.
And the new Foreign Secretary just so happens to be Lord Cameron of Chipping Norton.
Yes.
Does this muddy the waters somewhat?
No, I don't think so, because I think that there's a law at the moment saying they can't be taken out, and there is a proposal that they be lent to the Greeks. But I think that would be a very dangerous thing to do, because I don't suppose they'd ever come back.
Well, the British Museum say they haven't actually received any kind of proposal from the Greek government to have them loaned. So now we're sort of at a bit of a stalemate.
The Greek PM is playing this for populist reasons. And Sunak, I mean, the thing about Rishi Sunak is, to my mind, he's a bit too reasonable normally. He takes too much punishment. He never loses his temper. Yesterday, he threw a paddy. Hooray! At last,
would it be fair? I don't know what Rosie thinks. I'd rather he lost his temper about... I don't mean to be disrespectful to the Greeks or the Elgin Marbles or... You can have Stonehenge, I've said it. Don't you want Sunak to lose his marbles about something a bit more important?
Yeah, no, but I think this is the
second... If I'm being honest.
But, Jeremy, this is the second bit of evidence, you see. The first time was the day after that Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Gave a press conference, and you saw he was absolutely blistering with rage. Mm-hmm. And this is the second time. I think he's discovered a bit of
backbone,
a bit of Italian waiter behaviour.
Italian waiter behaviour.
I think he's turning into a bit of a mensch at last.
The perspective from the Greek government is that, look, you've refused to have a meeting with us because this for you is a bit of PR to your party to say, look, I'm on the side of the public. We're not even going to engage a conversation that might prompt a conversation about bringing them back. So this has actually turned into a PR war, really. It's not about where the statues are, really.
That Greek argument would make sense, Rosie. if the British people cared a monkeys about the Elgin Marbles. They do
if
not.
If the British people don't care,
Really
why
good
does the
point,
Prime
Cumming. I can
Minister
feel it.
think
Because
we care?
Mr. Greek Job behaved badly yesterday. He came and he was under an obligation, an agreement.
But in diplomacy,
not
we don't say you did something wrong, now I'm going to do something back. That's not how it works.
It is exactly how it works.
How do you think this is going to play out? Because the statues aren't going to move, they're not going to change hands, but we do need to have...
They're not going to move.
This
They're
is
made of marble.
a NATO ally. We need to have a good relationship with Greece, ultimately. We can't afford to fall out hugely over this.
Another of our NATO allies is Turkey. They'll be wetting themselves with laughter about this. So I think, they'll win some, lose some.